but it's really the process that you want to enjoy,
Yeah,
right?
it's the trip.
It's the trip. Yeah, it's the trip. It's the trip that you're really looking forward to. Welcome to the Live Your Dreams podcast with Success Leads Clues, and someone has your answer. Joined by I guess Tia's not here today. She's taking a sabbatical, but joined by Mo, my son.
Yo, what's up? What's up?
All right, so today we're talking about growth and living in the present. First and foremost, Mo, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How
All
you
right.
doing?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for joining me today on this podcast. I think this is a great topic, growth and living in the present, and I think this is something that people want to learn about.
Yeah.
Okay, so first and foremost, let's get right into it. Growth and living in the present. Let's take growth for instance first. When I say growth, what does growth mean to you?
Growth means always having something that you're doing and that you're working towards. So you're never just in one place. You're always picking up new practices, or you're always, learning something.
Yeah, Earl Nightingale said goals was the progressive realization of the worldly ideal. And I think that's the same thing with you're saying. It's always getting better, always, I guess, stretching to do something new. What do you think about that?
Yeah, when you say do something new, I think that's really, it hits home because when you're doing something new, you're also learning. And when you're doing something new, because you're not doing the same thing that you're used to.
Yeah, and what's so funny, of course, you're a lot younger than I am, but even at my age, I'm 49, and I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I can remember when I was your age, when I didn't have anything figured out. I mean, I was learning, and I'm 49, and I'm still reading books. And again, I just ordered a book from Amazon, the Power of Discipline, and I'm 49, and I'm still trying to figure out discipline. I'm still trying to figure out how to, get some great habits. So this is something I don't think you ever achieve, or I don't think you ever arrive. I think you're always growing. You're always trying to get to the next level. You're always trying to become better. Now, one of the things about growth that I kind of like is that if you're in the process, you actually feel better. Because again, you're trying to grow, but it's okay. Let me look at it this way: when we're going on vacation and we're going to a destination, you're excited, and once you get to the destination, it's nice, but you still don't have that anticipation like when you were actually getting there. So that's the same thing with growth. You're looking forward to it, right? Getting to this place, but it's really the process that you want to enjoy.
Yeah,
right?
It's the trip.
It's the trip. Yeah, it's the trip. It's the trip that you're really looking forward to. So let's talk about growth. And I think you defined it very well. Okay. Now, when you think about growth and goals, when you think of goals, and you're a lot younger than I am, I got to keep saying that because, again, I remember when I was your age. When you look at goals with your age, what do you think? Do you have any fear when you think of goals, anything like that?
Yeah, I think when I think about what I want in life and like what's the end goal, I always think about those things, and my mind, I guess, I get fearful of like how I'm gonna get there, like the different steps I'm gonna have to take, the different things I'm gonna have to learn, and it's overwhelming sometimes. But sometimes you have to, not think about it like that in like a big lens. You have to just step back and just take it one step at a time.
Like baby steps.
Like baby steps, yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes, and I read a lot of books on goals. One of the things they always say with goals, don't think of the steps. You just want to know what you want, and you want to know why you want it. And your why will answer the question and take care of getting the steps in place because you'll be moving forward. So that's one of the things, and that's normal, that fear you're feeling. And that's why I asked you that, because I remember when I was your age, that fear that you feel is sometimes overwhelming because you're thinking about 20 years down the road, right? But you
Yes.
got to focus sometimes to think about right now. So, and I think that's why we put growth and living in the present in the same title, because living in the present is really grasping the steps on how to get to the goals
Right.
or how to grow. So when you think about living in the present, what does that mean to you?
Live in the present, just making sure that you are like soaking in all the moments that comes by, and not just thinking about the future or the past, but having like being presently there in the present.
Yeah. One of the things, and this is what I always say, yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised. All you really have is right now, this moment, like you and I are right here. This is really all you have. And enjoy it and embrace it. Because again, to think 20 years down the road, there's nothing wrong with planning. You should plan. But to think 20 years down the road, sometimes you'll miss what we have right now.
Right now.
Yeah, you'll miss what we have right now. So sometimes you have to think about, how do I enjoy my right now while at the same time plan for the future? But you want to make sure that planning piece doesn't take away from what you're doing right now. And you want to enjoy what you're doing right now. That's one of the keys to success also, enjoying what you do right now. Now, when I was your age, I used to fire Tom up, and I used to ask him so many questions. And I think that's how I guess, had a philosophy. That's how I came up with my philosophy, by asking Tom so many questions, trying to figure this thing out. What questions do you have for me? And you can ask me any questions when it comes to that topic, that we could kind of figure this out to kind of help you. What do you think?
Yeah. So how did you get through the when you were my age? How did you get through, taking those steps and becoming, getting each step and being comfortable in each step?
And I think one of the things, society has some play into it. I always say we all are brainwashed, but I think I participate in my brainwash. Now, society says you should go to college or whatever it may be. So I was in college, I was enrolled, I was learning. So I felt as though I'm doing everything society is telling me to do.
Right.
I joined the military. That's another thing. And I felt I was doing everything that society told me to do.
And were those things like in your face, like college applications or applying for the military, or do you think that you looked for those things?
I think I looked for them. Because again, remember when I was 18, 19, and remember, I didn't go in the military, come to think about it, I was 21. Most people go in the military at 18. I went in the military at 21. So I was already 3 years behind, so to speak. So I think it wasn't in my face. I think I was searching. Tom would always say that what you are seeking is also seeking you. So I was seeking to change my life, and I was going by what society says would change your life. Serving the country, right? Going to college. So these things is somewhat things I sought out, because again, you got to think the environment I was in, no one was going to college, or no one was definitely joining the military. So it was things that I thought that would be the right thing to do, to be somewhat acceptable in society. So in my brain, I was saying these things is something that would probably make me, I guess, fit in, if you would think that way. So I think I sought those things out to kind of make me feel as though I was a part of something. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah. When you say like being acceptable and like trying to like fit in, I think that's what a lot of people do now. Well, not nowadays, but like that's how it's always been. You know how society, you've like grouped in to, and you're supposed to do what everybody does, and like it's just a society thing, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that, because sometimes it's hard to step away from what's normal, or what we consider normal.
Right.
It's
especially
hard.
when you're around it a lot.
Absolutely. So I think it's hard to do that. It's hard to be an individual, because sometimes you may think that, am I doing it wrong? It's just like if you're going, say for instance, you're going up an elevator, right? Or say a flight of stairs. You're walking up a flight of stairs. Everybody's walking up a flight of stairs, but it's an escalator right there, right? No one's taking the escalator. And you say, well, no one's taking the escalator. Walk up the stairs, the escalator must be broke. But you see the escalator moving, right? You see it's moving. You know the escalator will give you a great trip. But why wouldn't you take it? Because no one else is taking it. Now, to step away from the pack and everyone's walking up the stairs and say, hey, I'm going to ride the escalator, you may look different, right? And I guess it's that fear, what if it don't work? And then all of a sudden I'm going up the escalator and it don't work. Everybody's going to laugh at me. So that's the things. You have to be that individual that step away and say, hey, this is what I want. I want an escalator ride. I don't want to take the stairs. It's hard to do that because it takes a lot of self-esteem. And sometimes self-esteem isn't something that we are built in. It's something that you got to gain. That's why they call it self-esteem. It's something you have to give yourself. You have to esteem yourself. And again, sometimes when you talk about what is normal, that part of, I guess, having confidence in yourself and your abilities isn't always there. And those are things you have to learn. You definitely have to learn that.
You have to learn those things. Talking about growth and living in the present, I just want to ask you a question. When you were my age, 21, how did you overcome some of the fears that you had? And how did you get through it?
Yeah, that's a good question. And you remind me of myself because I remember sincerely asking Tom these questions because these were serious questions that I had. Like, how do you overcome this fear that I'm feeling? One way is you start to have some successes, right? So what do I mean by that? Things started to go your way. Now, everything, the sky's not falling. So everything's not going to be dismal. There's going to be some successes that happen. So every success or small win, you just want to repeat it. So the feeling that you get, for instance, like when you purchase, let's do something trivial, like when you purchase your vehicle, right? That feeling you felt that feeling of accomplishment, right? So that feeling you want to repeat. So when you started your own business, that feeling you felt, right? You want to keep repeating that. Now, you have to think when I was coming up, remember we had the cleaning business that was really self-employment. That didn't always go well. So I would fail. I took away the fear to fail. I guess that's one of the things. How do you overcome the fear? And this is a good one. The fear may not ever disappear, but you have to have that confidence to work despite of the fear. Mm-hmm. So like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until they punched in the mouth, right? Once you punched in the mouth, that plan goes out the window. So the fear may not ever go away. Let me start there. But you have to be able to have that, we call it stress management. You have to still be able to manage, although there's stressors around you, because it's normal. Because again, the more successful you are, the more risks you have to take, the more uncomfortable you have to become. So you have to learn how to be comfortable feeling that uncomfortability with that word. Yeah. So you have to learn how to work despite of that. So again, do the fear subside sometimes, but sometimes I'm 49 and sometimes I still have some fears. Sometimes I still have some doubts. That's why I just told you 2 days ago, the book I read, The Power of Discipline. I'm still reading these books. You have to constantly read. It's just like Steph Curry. He's still at the gym. Even though he's probably one of the best three-point shooters there is, he still has to practice. The late, great Kobe Bryant, no matter how good he was, he still had to practice. LeBron James, no matter how good he is, he still has to practice. They still have coaches Because you still have to practice every single day. So you want to say how to get over that fear, you have to work harder. So what that means is that no matter what time you wake up, I would say, okay, I'm going to wake up at 30 minutes earlier so I can read for 30 minutes on the power of positive thinking or whatever it may be, whatever subject you want, or whether it's recording. Say, you know what? I'm going to wake up 30 minutes because I want to learn how to produce at a higher level or whatever it may be. Wake up 30 extra minutes because if you're doing something that others won't do, that gives you the confidence, right? So one of the things I know, can't nobody outwork me because I know my work ethic. So that gives me the confidence. Although I may not be the most effective at all times, I know the work ethic that I have cannot be compared to no one's.
Right.
So again, you got to have those intangibles. Tom used to play tennis, and I used to go to play tennis with him. And one of the things he showed me, and he would watch tennis matches with me, and he would say, hey, that person just beat themselves. Not the opponent beat them, they beat themselves because it was unforced errors, which mean they made errors which they could have avoided, but that error cost them the game. Now, one of the things about it, the more practice you get, the less likely you'll make those errors.
Yeah, I think that's good advice about the fear, because if you just sit in the fear and not, overcome it or, pushing towards, even if you have the fear, I think it's really, you can get paralyzed and you can stay in the fear. But if you keep working despite of the fear, then I think you can push through the fear.
Yeah, what's so funny is that now you're asking me questions. I used to always ask Tom questions, and he used to say, and I say, thank you, Tom, because I would be very sincere. And I would say, thank you. And he would say, hey, don't thank me. I'm thanking you because you're listening. Now, one of the things that I understand what Tom means now, because to have someone listen to you, you're doing more for me than I'm doing for you. You have to believe me when I say that, because when you become older and to have someone listen to you and take some advice from you, there is no feeling like that because you feel like you're giving back to the next generation. So now I understand what Tom meant by that, because now it feels like it's worthwhile. Everything I went through, all the sacrifices, now it's worthwhile because I can share it with someone.
It's being carried down.
Right. And now I see why Tom was so excited. And he was like, no, thank you. And again, I tell you, he would go for hours and he would love it. And now I see that feeling that he felt is that you really feel like I'm alive because someone's listening. So you're helping me more than I'm helping you. And you have to believe that. And one day you're going to be in my seat. And then you're going to look back at someone and say, wow, now I see that feeling he was talking about. Giving back and helping someone. And that's the key. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. I'm not going to be here forever, right? Tom is gone. And then you're going to be in this seat. Someone's going to be there, and you have to give it to them. And you'll realize, because as you get older, you realize you're not going to live forever. When I was your age, you feel like you're going to live forever. But as you get my age, I'm almost half of 100. You start to realize I'm not going to be here forever. So I have to give it. I have to plant this thing so it could grow. So now I understand. You start to understand more. And that takes away some of the fears, the doubts, because now I have to give. Now it's not all about me. I have to give. And that kind of helps. And I'm telling you, it's the best feeling in the world. It's the best feeling in the world.
Can't wait to feel it.
Yeah. And again, one thing about it is that it's going to come a lot sooner than you think. Yeah. It's going to come a lot sooner than you think.
Yeah. I really think about how time really flies, how I perceive time, and it's really different from how I used to perceive it.
What do you mean by that?
Well, when you're sort of in younger age, you sort of perceive time as you don't really perceive it. You just, every day is just. But now that I'm older, I have, plan things out, make appointments, and sort of structure my life around time. So, I mean, it's a lot quicker now. Like life is like, is like it goes by so fast. But I'm trying to, plant myself in the moment, get good advice from you, and just try to,
Yeah, and the key, I think you just said something that's worthy. Plant yourself in the moment, because again, time is passing. But enjoy the moment, because again, yesterday's gone. You can't get yesterday back. It's water under the bridge. Tomorrow is not promised. If you believe anything I tell you, believe that tomorrow is not promised. It's not. You want to enjoy today. You want to enjoy right now, right? If you got a chance to take a walk in the park or whatever it may be, you want to do it. Embrace the moment and enjoy every minute of it. That's why I told you, if you take any advice from me, whatever time you were going to wake up tomorrow, don't wait. Get 30 minutes and wake up earlier, right? It's about winning the morning. I read so many books, The Morning Miracle. It's so many books about the morning. You have to win the morning. And that fear you're talking about, it was an admiral who did a great speech. It's on YouTube about making your bed in the morning. And what he said, the reason why that, and when I was in the Marine Corps, we used to always do that. First thing you do when you get up, you make your bed. Because if you make your bed first thing in the morning, you achieved something, right? No matter what happened throughout the day, you did something right. And in the Marine Corps, that bed was right. It was exact. So no matter how the day went, your bed was made right. You did something right. So again, it's momentum. So if you make your bed right, you had your clothes out, you're putting your clothes on right. It's momentum, right? You already got gas in your vehicle, right? It's the little small things. The little things. Right. And it's momentum. So again, my first advice, the first step is winning your morning. And again, get 30 minutes. Okay, start with 30 minutes. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. It ain't going to, trust me, you ain't going to lose sleep. You ain't going to be exhausted. It isn't even like that.
Yeah, I think it was you who said, if you get your morning good, the rest of the day.
Absolutely. If you get, you have to win the morning. I read too many books on it. And I practice it. If you don't have your morning right, you don't have anything right. And again, Tom subconsciously showed me that. Because again, he would call me in the morning and wake me up. Right? So that morning piece, if you don't listen to anything else I say, win your morning every morning. Every morning, well, no matter what time you're going to wake up 30 minutes earlier. And you got to think, there's studies that say if you read 30 minutes, definitely an hour, if you read an hour, but just say 30 minutes a day, no matter what subject it is, basket weaving, neuroscience, no matter what it is, if you read 30 minutes a day within 5 years, and let's say an hour a day within 5 years, you'll be an expert. But again, who do you know put that time in? And you may say, well, I could do it 30 minutes a day. But then one day slip by, well, I'll do an hour tomorrow. And then you lose 2 days. Well, I'll read an hour and a half the next day. It don't work like that.
Procrastination.
Right. It don't work like that. It's the little bit, right? Boom, boom, boom. It's the little drips. Boom, boom. A little drip of water can crack a stone.
Yeah. Now that you're saying that, I think this goes back to growth. The
Absolutely.
Little steps.
Yeah, that's it. It's the growth, man. That's what makes you successful. It's the little steps. It's the little things that people miss, right? That makes you successful. It's the little things that really makes you successful. But the step one, I would say, is winning your morning. Really getting your morning. If you want to grow, get your morning under control. If you could get your morning under control, the sky's the limit for you. And again, you're so young. I mean, you have your whole future ahead of you. So again, you're so young. So get your morning. If you could get your morning, trust me, no matter what you decide to do, you're going to be successful. You're definitely going to do it. So that's it. Win your morning. That's growth. That's living in the present. All right. So first and foremost, thank you, because you were sincere. And when you're sincere, it goes a long way. And I appreciate that. So definitely you have to come back. You have to come back to Live Your Dreams podcast, man.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're here anyway, every week anyway, doing the
editing,
the producing, the directing. And I'll see you. And yes, I do mean you. Living your dreams. Like, subscribe, share. And as always, peace.